News Conference Extra with Conan Nolan.
Good morning and welcome to News Conference Extra, a special segment of Today in LA Weekend. It's a race receiving national attention because of its impact in the criminal justice reform movement. Incumbent District Attorney Jackie Lacey taking on two challengers, George Gascon, the former district attorney from San Francisco and a former assistant police chief at the LAPD, and Rachel Rossi, a former public defender.
I do embrace reforms. I'm an African-American woman who grew up in Los Angeles. I saw racism firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand. It is heartbreaking to see how many people of color are in jail and in our criminal justice system. And so in terms of administering my job, I make sure that we eliminate bias and make sure that we make decisions based on fact and not based on race. Now, the criminal justice reform movement is important because we should be examining, for instance, archaic drug laws and other laws such as the bail reform. I'm an independent prosecutor. I'm a lawyer. I've been through some of the most extensive training and experience. I've tried 100 felony jury trials. The first hate crime murder conviction, I obtained that under the California law. And I've tried things such as sex crimes and domestic violence cases as well as homicide cases. And so I think what people want is they want to make sure that their justice system operates fairly, that the prosecutor is willing to embrace reform, but that you just don't go off the deep end and go along with whatever the in-crowd tells you to do. And I think that's the biggest difference between myself and many of my opponents. It's obvious, particularly with the San Francisco district attorney, that he's just embracing whatever the reformists tell him to. And it's obvious because when he had the power, when he was in San Francisco, he didn't do half the things that he's promising LA County residents to do.
She can say whatever she wants to say, but she's fought every single reform effort during her administration. She has opposed anywhere from, cash bail reform, although she now talks about being pro-cash bail reform. She opposed Prop 64, and then when I came out in 2016 and said we must do our duty and make sure that we clear the criminal records of those that were impacted by the war on drugs when it came to marijuana convictions, she refused to do it. Very conveniently, she does that recently at a time when, frankly, it's almost hollow because as of July 1, she would be mandated to do it. She is saying she is a reformer, but that flies in the face of everything that she has done. And that question of balance, again, runs hollow when you see the state of the criminal justice system in the county, and you see the problems even in her office, how they have so many internal problems, how they treat their own people, the problems of sexual harassment. We have judges, recently a retired judge, that called her out, that even her signature initiative, mental health, where she likes to call herself sort of the pioneer of mental health in the criminal justice system, when you look at the practices of the office, her people day in and day out are opposing mental health diversion. And out of a county of 10.5 million people, in the first year she had about 400 people that were diverted. Yet you have the Rand Corporation walking into county jail and looking and saying there's at least 3,000 people that qualify for mental health reform diversion, even under your system. But yet this office continues to oppose this. So again, I think that we have to look at people's actions and let the actions speak louder than the words.
So I'm the first former public defender to run for District Attorney of LA County. I'm a former LA County public defender and a former LA federal public defender, but that's not all I am. I also worked in criminal justice reform policy in Washington, D.C. So having worked in the courtrooms in LA County and having seen the other side of the criminal justice system, the impact on families, on communities, on people, it changes how you view the impact of a criminal case. When you file a case, when you file an enhancement, it's a different understanding of what that means on someone's life.
Is the system unjust because of the racial component of who's in custody?
I think that's a part of it. I also think we have to look at what types of offenses we're locking people up for. If we truly want to focus on community safety, then we have to put our resources toward serious and violent offenses and not over criminalization of low-level offenses. And when we look at racial disparities in the system, you know, 80% of people in our LA County jails are Black or Latino, and that is a problem. It doesn't mean that our prosecutors are vindictively going after people who are Black or brown. But when there is a racial disparity, our prosecutors do have a duty to look at that, to evaluate the policies and procedures, and to see if there are things that can be done to mitigate against those racial disparities.
3 candidates for District Attorney of Los Angeles County. If none of the 3 reach above 50% on Tuesday, there will be a runoff. Up next, Fernando Guerra of the Center for the Study of Los Angeles from Loyola Marymount University when we return.